The final negotiations took place in neutral space, aboard a human space station that the Council couldn't find until humanity chose to reveal it. Admiral Lisa Carter sat across from the surviving Council leaders, knowing that every word would reshape the galaxy. Supreme Chancellor Zixmore looked older than his 300 years. His crystalline form was dim and cracked, showing the stress of recent events. Beside him sat the remaining Council members, representatives of races that had once ruled the galaxy. "The terms are simple," Carter began. "The Council will give up all authority over non-Council worlds. All races will be free to choose their own alliances. Any world that requests human protection will receive it. You cannot simply destroy thousands of years of galactic law," Zixmore protested. His voice was weak, but still carried traces of his old authority. "We already have," Carter replied calmly. "Your law was based on military power. We now have superior military power. The balance has shifted." Through the station's windows, they could see the U.S. Phantom floating nearby. Captain Rick Stone's battleship had taken permanent station above Nexus Prime, a constant reminder of humanity's new capabilities. The Council's own homeworld was now under human protection. "What guarantee do we have that humans won't become tyrants like the Council?" asked Ambassador Quinella. The Altarian looked frightened but defiant. "You have our word," Carter said. "But more importantly, you have our actions. We've had the power to destroy Nexus Prime for weeks. Instead, we're offering you a chance to live in peace." The transformation had been remarkable. Within months of the Council's defeat, over 200 races had requested membership in the new Free Worlds Alliance. The Council's former territory was being divided among independent worlds that could now choose their own destinies. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the U.E. Sephience, watching construction crews build a new space station in the Centauri system. The dark matter shipyards were working at full capacity, but now they were building ships for exploration and trade, not just war. "Hard to believe how fast things have changed," said his first officer, Commander Pete Johnson. 6 months ago, we were facing annihilation. Now we're the dominant power in the galaxy." Jake nodded. The humans had learned something important about power. It wasn't enough to be strong. You had to be wise about how you used that strength. "Sir," said Communications Officer Danny Walsh, "we're getting reports from the Outer Rim. 3 more systems have requested membership in the Alliance." The Free Worlds Alliance was growing every day. Unlike the Council, which had forced races to join, the Alliance was voluntary. Worlds could leave if they wanted, but few did. Human protection was effective, and human trade was profitable. On Earth, Dr. Alex Rodriguez was working on new applications for dark matter technology. His research had gone far beyond military uses. Dark matter drives could power entire cities. Dark matter shields could protect planets from asteroid impacts. The technology that had won the war was now being used to build a better future. "Doctor, we've received requests for dark matter technology from 50 different worlds," reported Chief Engineer Corinne Brooks. "They want to build their own power plants and defense systems." Alex considered this carefully. The humans could keep the technology secret and maintain their military advantage. But that would make them no different from the Council, hoarding power and keeping other races dependent. "Approve the requests," Alex said finally, "but we'll provide the technology gradually. We want to make sure it's used for peaceful purposes." This was the human approach to leadership. Instead of ruling through fear, they shared their advantages with their allies. Instead of crushing potential rivals, they helped them grow stronger. It was a risky strategy, but it was working. In the Rigel system, Commander Steve Hayes was overseeing the construction of a new research facility. The U's Wraith had been converted from a warship into an exploration vessel. Its dark matter drives could reach parts of the galaxy that no other race had ever visited. "Sir, we've detected an anomaly in the outer system," reported Lieutenant Amy Foster. "It looks like an ancient artifact of some kind." Hayes smiled. This was what he had joined the space service for. Not to fight wars, but to explore the unknown and make new discoveries. "Set course for the anomaly," he ordered. "Let's see what we can find." The galaxy was full of mysteries waiting to be solved. With dark matter technology, humans could explore regions that had been unreachable for millions of years. They were finding new planets, new forms of life, and ancient ruins left by civilizations that had vanished long ago. Back on the space station, the negotiations were coming to an end. Chancellor Zix Moore had finally accepted that the old order was finished. The council would be disbanded, and its member races would be free to choose their own paths. "What will happen to us?" asked Defense Minister Colvax. The Draconian looked defeated and old. "You'll be given a choice," Admiral Carter replied. "You can join the Free Worlds Alliance as equals, or you can remain independent. But you cannot try to rebuild the Council." Most of the former Council races chose to join the Alliance. They had seen what happened to those who opposed humanity, and they had also seen the benefits of cooperation. The Draconians became some of humanity's strongest allies, their warrior culture finding new purpose in protecting weaker races. Only a few species chose independence. The Zephyrians retreated to their home systems and closed their borders. They had been the Council's strongest supporters, and they couldn't accept the new order. Humanity respected their choice and left them alone. "The formal treaty will be signed tomorrow," Carter announced. "The Galactic Council is officially dissolved. The Free Worlds Alliance will take its place." Captain Stone watched the ceremony. From the bridge of the UE's Phantom, representatives from hundreds of worlds had gathered to sign the treaty that would create a new galactic government. It was based on cooperation instead of domination, freedom instead of fear. "Sir, we're receiving a message from Earth," reported Lieutenant Morgan. "Admiral Carter wants all dark matter ships to return home for reassignment." Stone nodded. The war was over, but humanity's responsibilities were just beginning. The galaxy was a big place, and there were many worlds that needed protection. The dark matter fleet would be divided into exploration groups, each one responsible for a different sector. "Set course for Earth," Stone ordered. "It's time to go home." The trip back to Earth gave Stone time to think about what they had accomplished. Humanity had faced the greatest military power in the galaxy and won. But more than that, they had used their victory to create something better. When the UE's Phantom reached Earth orbit, Stone could see the changes that had taken place. New space stations were under construction. Ships from dozens of different races were docked at human facilities. Earth had become the center of a new galactic civilization. "Captain Stone, welcome home." Admiral Carter's voice came over the cone. "Report to Luna Command for your next assignment." Stone smiled. "Understood, Admiral. What's our next mission?" "Exploration," Carter replied. "We've mapped less than 10% of the galaxy. With dark matter drives, we can reach places no one has ever seen. Your job is to find new worlds for the Alliance." This was what humanity did best. When faced with the unknown, they didn't retreat or hide. They explored, they learned, and they adapted. The same spirit that had led them to develop dark matter. Technology would now lead them to the stars. Years later, historians would mark the defeat of the Galactic Council as the beginning of a new age. The Council had ruled through strength and fear, crushing anyone who challenged their authority. Humanity had shown a different way to use power. The Free Worlds Alliance grew to include over 1,000 different species. Trade flourished between worlds that had been enemies for centuries. Scientific knowledge was shared freely, leading to advances that benefited everyone. The galaxy became a more peaceful and prosperous place. Captain Morrison, now an admiral himself, often thought about a moment when humanity had faced annihilation. They had been given a choice: surrender or fight. They had chosen to fight, and in doing so, they had won not just their freedom, but the freedom of countless other races. The Council made one crucial mistake, Morrison would tell new recruits. They thought humans would give up when faced with impossible odds. They forgot that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our refusal to accept that something can't be done. The dark matter ships still patrolled the galaxy, but now they were symbols of protection rather than weapons of war. They explored new systems, rescued ships in distress, and kept the peace between rival worlds. The same technology that had humiliated the Council was now being used to build a better future for everyone. And in the outer reaches of the galaxy, where no ship had ever traveled before, human explorers were discovering wonders beyond imagination. New forms of life, ancient mysteries, and planets that could support billions of people. The galaxy was vast and full of possibilities. The age of the Council was over. The age of humanity had begun. The stars looked different that night. Jake Morrison stood in front of the big computer screens at the Colorado Springs Space Monitoring Station. He had been watching space for 10 years, but he had never seen anything like this. "Sir, you need to look at this," said Lisa Bennett. She was the best communications officer Jake had ever worked with. Her voice was shaking. Jake walked over to Lisa's station. The screen showed thousands of red dots moving toward Earth. Each dot was huge, much bigger than anything humans had ever built. "Are you sure the equipment is working right?" Jake asked. Ryan Parker, their best analyst, ran the numbers again. "I checked 3 times, sir. These readings are real. Something very big is coming our way." Jake felt cold. In all his years of watching space, he had hoped to find other life, but not like this. Not an invasion fleet. The alien ships were still far away, but they were moving fast. Jake could see they would reach Earth in 3 days. He picked up the red phone that connected directly to the White House. "This is Morrison at Deep Space Command. I need to speak with the President right now." Far away in space, Admiral Krexthu stood on the bridge of his flagship. The ship was 3 miles long and carried enough weapons to destroy entire planets. Around him, 10,000 other ships moved in perfect formation. Krexthu was proud of his fleet. He had conquered 47 worlds with these ships. Each victory had been easy. The younger species never put up much of a fight. "Report on the target world," Krexthu commanded. His intelligence officer, a tall alien with 4 arms, stepped forward. "The planet is called Earth, Admiral. The species calls themselves humans. They are very primitive." Krexthu looked at the data on his screen. The humans had simple rockets that barely left their planet. Their weapons were basic nuclear bombs. Their biggest warships were smaller than his shuttlecraft. "How long will this take?" the Admiral asked. "No more than 1 day, Admiral." "Maybe less. They have no real defenses." Krexthu smiled. This would be the easiest conquest yet. The humans would surrender quickly once they saw his mighty fleet. If they were smart, they would give up without a fight. In Washington, D.C., President William Carter sat in the Situation Room deep under the White House. The room was full of his top advisors. Everyone looked worried. Defense Secretary Patricia Walsh placed a folder on the table. "The numbers are bad, Mr. President. Very bad. We count over 10,000 enemy ships. Each one is the size of a small city." General Frank Collins, head of the military, shook his head. "Sir, we have nothing that can fight ships that big. Our best weapons would barely scratch them." President Carter was a calm man, but this news made his hands shake. "How much time do we have?" 3 days, sir, General Collins answered. Maybe less. The president stood up and walked to the window. Even though they were underground, he could see a screen showing the sky above. Somewhere out there, death was coming for his planet. Sir, Patricia Walsh said quietly, the aliens have sent us a message. What do they want? Complete surrender. They want us to give up all our weapons and accept their rule. If we do, they say they will let most humans live. President Carter turned back to the table. And if we refuse, they will destroy every city on Earth. The president sat down hard in his chair. How could he tell 7 billion people that aliens were coming to conquer them? How could he tell them that Earth had no chance of winning? Sir, General Collins said, there is one more thing. Some of our deep space sensors have been picking up strange readings for months. We thought it was equipment problems. What kind of readings? Ships, sir. Human ships. But not like anything we have in our public fleet. They appear and disappear too fast for our sensors to track properly. President Carter frowned. Are you saying we have secret ships? I don't know, sir, but someone does. And they've been very careful to stay hidden. Back in space, Admiral Crextill studied the third planet from the star the humans called the Sun. It was blue and green, covered with water and plants. It looked peaceful. It looked weak. Send the surrender message, he ordered, his communications. Officers sent the message toward Earth. It would take several hours to reach the planet, but the humans would understand. They always did. The message was simple. People of Earth, you are now subjects of the Zellarian Empire. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. Remove all weapons from your military. Your leaders will report to our ships for new orders. If you refuse, we will destroy your cities one by one till you comply. This is your only warning. Admiral Crextill had sent the same message to 47 other worlds. Everyone had surrendered. The humans would too. They had no choice. On Earth, Jake Morrison worked through the night. His team tracked every alien ship as it got closer. The numbers kept growing. 11,000 ships. 12,000. 15,000. Sir, Lisa Bennett called out, we're getting some strange readings from our own solar system. Jake looked at her screen. What am I looking at? I'm not sure, sir. There are objects moving near Jupiter. They're too small to be the alien ships, but they're moving in patterns, like they're in formation. Ryan Parker ran the data through. The computer. Sir, these objects are human-made, but they're not showing up on any of our fleet rosters. Jake stared at the screen. Someone had ships in space that weren't supposed to exist. Ships that had been hiding near the gas giant planets. Ships that were now moving toward Earth. How many? Jake asked. Hard to say, sir. Maybe 50. Maybe more. They keep disappearing from our sensors. President Carter received the report 1 hour later. He sat in his office with his closest advisors. The alien message had been translated into every language on Earth. People were starting to panic. Mr. President, General Collins said, we need to make a decision. Do we surrender? President Carter looked out the window at the city. People were going about their normal lives, not knowing that in 2 days, everything might change forever. What? About these mystery ships? The president asked. We don't know who they belong to, sir, but they're definitely human-made, and they're moving to intercept the alien fleet. Patricia Walsh opened another folder. Sir, there's something else. We've been getting reports from military bases around the world. Strange equipment has been delivered to secret locations. Equipment that our official military didn't order. President Carter felt a small hope growing in his chest. Are you telling me that someone has been preparing for this? It looks that way, sir. But we don't know who. The president made his decision. Send a message to the aliens. Tell them that Earth rejects their demands. Tell them that humanity will never surrender. His advisors looked shocked. General Collins leaned forward. "Sir, that's a death sentence for our planet." President Carter stood up. "Maybe. Or maybe someone has been getting ready for this fight. Either way, I won't hand over 7 billion people to alien masters." As the message was sent to the alien fleet, Admiral Crexthill received it with surprise. In 47 conquests, no species had ever refused his generous offer. "Foolish humans," he said to his crew, "prepare the fleet for battle. We will teach them what happens when they defy the Zalarian Empire." The countdown to Earth's destruction had begun. President Carter walked into the United Nations building in New York City. The Great Hall was packed with representatives from every country on Earth. Everyone looked scared. The alien message had been broadcast to the whole world 6 hours ago. Ambassador Maria Rodriguez stood at the podium, translating the president's words into 12 languages. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook as she held the microphone. "My fellow humans," President Carter began, "yesterday we learned that we are not alone in the universe. Today we learned that some of our neighbors are not friendly." The hall was completely quiet. Even the news reporters stopped moving. "The aliens have given us a choice: surrender and become slaves, or fight and die. But I believe there is a third option. We can fight and win." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Many people shook their heads. How could Earth fight ships the size of cities? "I know what you're thinking," the president continued. "Our weapons are too weak. Our ships are too small. But sometimes things are not what they seem." 300 miles away, deep under a mountain in Nevada, Dr. Nathan Brooks watched the president's speech on a small screen. He had been waiting for this moment for 20 years. Dr. Brooks was the director of the Prometheus Defense Initiative. Almost no one knew it existed. Even the president had only learned about it yesterday. "Sir," said his assistant, "a young woman named Kelly Davis. All stations are reporting ready." Dr. Brooks looked at the massive control room around him. Hundreds of technicians sat at computers, monitoring equipment hidden all over the world. For 2 decades, they had been building Earth's real defenses. "How many sites are active?" Dr. Brooks asked. "All of them, sir. 57 quantum displacement generators, 43 gravitational wave manipulators, 31 dimensional fold weapons. And that's just the ground-based equipment." Dr. Brooks smiled. "The aliens thought they were attacking a primitive world. They were wrong. The secret had started 23 years ago. A small alien scout ship had crashed in the Amazon rainforest. The Brazilian government had called the Americans for help. Dr. Brooks, then a young physicist, had been part of the team that studied the wreckage. What they found changed everything. The alien technology was advanced, but not impossible to understand. Human scientists were smarter than the aliens had expected. Within 5 years, Earth had built its first faster-than-light ship, but Dr. Brooks had convinced the government to keep it secret. If other aliens knew how advanced humans really were, they might attack in larger numbers. It was better to look weak while getting stronger. "Sir," Kelly Davis said, "we're getting reports from Captain Sullivan's fleet." Dr. Brooks turned to another screen. In space, 50 human ships moved silently toward the alien fleet. These weren't the simple rockets that Earth showed to the world. These were warships that could travel between stars in minutes. Captain Amy Sullivan sat in the command chair of the starship Phoenix. Around her, the bridge crew worked quietly. They had trained for this moment for years. "Report," Captain Sullivan ordered. Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Carl Murphy, checked his screens. "All ships are in position, Captain. We're 2 hours from intercept. Any sign the aliens have detected us?" "No, Captain. Our stealth systems are working perfectly. They still think we're primitive rockets." Captain Sullivan looked at the main screen. The alien fleet was huge. Thousands of ships, each one bigger than anything Earth had publicly built. But size wasn't everything. Weapons status? All quantum torpedoes are armed and ready, Captain. Fusion cannons are charged. Reality bombs are standing by. Captain Sullivan nodded. Each weapon on her ship could destroy an entire city. The aliens had no idea what was coming. On the alien flagship, Admiral Krexthal prepared for what he thought would be an easy battle. His intelligence officer had reported that the humans were sending their pathetic fleet to meet them. "How many ships are they sending?" the admiral asked. 57, sir. Small vessels. Probably chemical rockets with nuclear warheads. Admiral Krexthal laughed. 57 ships against 15,000? These humans are braver than I thought, and stupider. His weapons officer, a creature with 6 eyes, looked puzzled. "Sir, I'm having trouble getting clear readings on the human ships. They seem to fade in and out of our sensors." "Primitive stealth technology," the admiral said. "It won't help them." But the weapons officer wasn't convinced. In 47 battles, he had never seen stealth this good. The human ships appeared and disappeared from sensors like ghosts. Back on Earth, President Carter finished his speech to the United Nations. "Today, humanity stands together. We will not kneel to alien masters. We will not surrender our freedom. And we will show the galaxy that Earth is not as helpless as it looks." The crowd stood and applauded. But most people still looked scared. They had seen the alien fleet on the news. How could 50 human ships fight 15,000 alien warships? Dr. Brooks watched the president's speech and smiled. If only they knew the truth. The 50 ships were just the beginning. Earth's real weapons were hidden under every major city on the planet. "Sir," Kelly Davis said, "we're getting the final go-ahead from the president." "Excellent. Begin charging all planetary defense systems. And send the activation codes to Captain Sullivan's fleet." Around the world, hidden facilities came online. Under New York City, a machine the size of a football field began to hum. It could create artificial black holes. Under London, another machine prepared to fold space itself into a weapon. Under Tokyo, a third machine got ready to fire beams of pure energy across the solar system. The aliens had no idea what they were about to face. Captain Sullivan received the activation codes on her ship. "All stations, this is Phoenix Command. We are authorized to engage. Repeat, we are authorized to engage." Her communications officer, Lieutenant Sarah Miller, opened a channel to the fleet. "All ships, this is Phoenix. Execute Plan Alpha. Show them what humans can really do." The 50 human ships dropped their stealth systems and appeared on every alien sensor at once. But they didn't look like the primitive rockets the aliens expected. They looked like ships from a nightmare. The Phoenix was 800 feet long, covered in weapons that the aliens couldn't identify. Its hull was made of materials that didn't exist in normal space. Its engines bent reality to push the ship faster than light. "Sir," the alien weapons officer said to Admiral Krexthal, "those aren't chemical rockets." The admiral looked at his screen. The human ships were moving at impossible speeds. They were, accelerating in ways that should have crushed their crews. And they were heading straight for his fleet. "What are they?" the admiral demanded. "I don't know, sir. But they're using technology I've never seen before." For the first time in 47 battles, Admiral Krexthal felt afraid. The humans weren't supposed to have ships like this. Earth was supposed to be primitive. What had gone wrong? "All ships, battle stations," he ordered. "Prepare to engage the human fleet." 15,000 alien warships turned their weapons toward the 50 human ships. The aliens still had overwhelming numbers. But numbers weren't everything. Captain Sullivan watched the alien fleet on her screen. "All weapons, lock on targets. Fire on my command." Her weapons officer, Lieutenant Tom Bradley, prepared the ship's most powerful weapon. The quantum torpedo could punch through any known defense. It worked by removing the target from reality itself. "Captain," Lieutenant Bradley said, "all weapons are locked and loaded." "Then let's show them what happens when you threaten Earth," Captain Sullivan said. "All ships, fire at will." The battle for Earth was about to begin. But the aliens had no idea that they were already dead. They just didn't know it, yet Dr. Brooks watched from his underground command center as the human fleet opened fire. On his screens, he could see the alien ships starting to disappear. Not destroyed, simply gone, as if they had never existed. "Sir," Kelly Davis said, "the fleet is reporting successful hits. Multiple alien ships eliminated. Excellent. And the planetary defenses? Ready to fire on your command, sir." Dr. Brooks looked at the biggest screen in the room. It showed the alien fleet in real time. Thousands of ships, each one full of enemies who wanted to enslave humanity. "Fire all weapons," he ordered. "Show them what Earth can really do." Around the world, the hidden weapons came online. The real battle was just beginning. The moment the human fleet opened fire, the universe changed. Captain Sullivan watched from the bridge of the Phoenix as her quantum torpedoes hit the alien flagship. The massive ship, 3 miles long and carrying 50,000 crew members, simply disappeared. "Direct hit on the flagship," reported Lieutenant Bradley. "Target eliminated." But eliminated wasn't the right word. The alien ship hadn't exploded. It hadn't broken apart. It had just stopped existing. The quantum torpedoes had removed it from reality itself. Admiral Krexthal had exactly 2 seconds to understand what was happening to his ship. The bridge around him began to fade away. His crew started to scream as they realized they were being erased from existence. "Impossible," the Admiral whispered. Then he was gone. Lieutenant Murphy on the Phoenix tracked the results on his screen. "Captain, the alien flagship is completely destroyed. No debris, no survivors. It's like it was never there." Captain Sullivan felt no joy in the victory. These aliens had come to enslave her planet. They had threatened 7 billion innocent people. They deserved what they got. "Target the next ship," she ordered. "Continue firing." Across the human fleet, 49 other ships opened fire at the same time. Each ship carried 12 quantum torpedoes. Each torpedo could destroy a ship the size of a city. The math was simple and terrible. On Earth, Dr. Brooks watched the space battle from his command center. The alien fleet was huge, but it was also helpless. The aliens had no defense against weapons that attacked reality itself. "Sir," Kelly Davis said, "the fleet reports successful hits on all targets. The aliens are trying to return fire, but their weapons can't lock onto our ships." Dr. Brooks nodded. The human ships used dimensional shields that existed in several realities at once. Alien weapons could only hit one reality at a time. "What about the planetary defenses?" Dr. Brooks asked. "All systems are charged and ready, sir, waiting for your command." Dr. Brooks looked at the main screen. The alien fleet was still huge, even with 50 ships destroyed. It was time to show them Earth's real power. "Fire all planetary weapons," he ordered. "Let them see what happens when you attack humanity." Around the world, the hidden weapons came online. Under New York City, the gravitational wave generator created a miniature black hole and launched it toward the alien fleet. The black hole was only the size of a marble, but it had the mass of a mountain. The artificial black hole hit the center of the alien formation and began to pull ships toward it. 100 alien warships were crushed into a single point of infinite density. They didn't even have time to scream. Under London, the dimensional fold weapon activated. It worked by folding space around the target, crushing everything inside. When space unfolded again, Nothing remained. 200 alien ships simply vanished as reality bent around them. The aliens in nearby ships watched in horror as their friends were compressed into nothingness. Under Tokyo, the reality cannon fired. A beam of pure energy that traveled faster than light. It hit an alien battle group and transformed all the matter in the ships into energy. The explosion was visible from Earth as a brief new star. The alien fleet was dying. Ships that had conquered 47 worlds were being destroyed by weapons they couldn't understand. Weapons that attacked the very fabric of reality. On one of the surviving alien ships, Commander Vextal tried to understand what was happening. He had been Admiral Krexthal's second in command. Now he was in charge of what remained of the fleet. "Report," he ordered his crew. "Sir, we've lost over 3,000 ships in the first 10 seconds. The humans are using weapons that shouldn't exist." Commander Vextal looked at his screen. The human ships were moving through his fleet like sharks through fish. Every few seconds, another group of his ships would disappear. "Return fire," he ordered. "All ships, concentrate fire on the human vessels." The alien ships turned their weapons toward the human fleet. Massive energy beams and particle cannons fired at the Phoenix and her sister ships. The beams were powerful enough to destroy planets, but the beams passed right through the human ships like they were ghosts. "Sir," his weapons officer said, "our weapons aren't hitting anything." The human ships seemed to exist in multiple dimensions. At once, Commander Vextal felt his blood turn cold. These humans weren't primitive. They were more advanced than the Zalarians. More advanced than any species in the galaxy. "Send a message to the human fleet," he ordered. "Tell them we want to negotiate." But it was too late for negotiations. The human ships had already locked onto his vessel. Captain Sullivan watched the alien commander's ship on her screen. She felt no mercy for creatures that had come to enslave her people. "Fire," she ordered. The quantum torpedo hit the alien command ship and erased it from existence. Commander Vextal and his crew joined. Their admiral in nothingness. On Earth, Jake Morrison watched the battle from his monitoring station. The alien fleet was disappearing faster than he could count. His computers showed 15,000 enemy ships when the battle started. Now there were only 8,000, then 6,000, then 4,000. "Sir," Lisa Bennett said, "I'm getting communications from the alien fleet. They're trying to surrender." Jake looked at the screen. The aliens were sending messages in dozens of languages, all saying the same thing. "Please stop. We surrender. We didn't know, Mercy." "What are our orders?" Lisa asked. Jake thought about the alien message to Earth. "Surrender, or we will destroy your cities. Remove all weapons, or we will kill your people." The aliens had shown no mercy when they thought they were winning. No response. Jake said, "The battle continues." Dr. Brooks made the same decision in his command center. The aliens had come to Earth as conquerors. They would leave as atoms scattered across space. "Sir," Kelly Davis said, "the aliens are trying to retreat. Some ships are turning away from Earth. Can they escape?" Dr. Brooks asked. "Not likely, sir. Our ships are faster than theirs, and our weapons have unlimited range." Dr. Brooks nodded. The dimensional fold weapons could hit targets anywhere in the solar system. The aliens had nowhere to run. "Continue firing," he ordered. "Don't let any of them escape." The human fleet moved through the alien formation like death itself. Every ship they targeted simply ceased to exist. The aliens tried to scatter, but they couldn't escape. Captain Sullivan's ship, the Phoenix, chased down a group of fleeing alien vessels. They were heading for the edge of the solar system, hoping to reach their jump gates and escape. "Lock weapons on the lead ship," Captain Sullivan ordered. "Locked and ready, Captain," Lieutenant Bradley replied. Fire. The quantum torpedo reached the alien ship and removed it from reality. The other ships in the group tried to change course, but they were too slow. "Fire at will," Captain Sullivan said. "Don't let any of them get away." The Phoenix and her sister ships hunted down the fleeing aliens like wolves chasing rabbits. Every few seconds, another enemy ship would disappear. "Back on Earth, President." Carter watched the battle from the White House Situation Room. The screens showed the alien fleet being destroyed faster than anyone had thought possible. "How many alien ships are left?" he asked General Collins. "Less than 1,000, sir. At this rate, they'll all be gone in another 10 seconds. President. Carter couldn't believe it. The aliens had seemed so powerful. Their fleet had been larger than anything humanity had ever imagined. But Earth's secret weapons were making them look like toys. "Sir," General Collins said, "we're getting reports from around the world. Every hidden weapons site is reporting successful hits. The aliens have no defense against our technology." The president watched the main screen as the last alien ships disappeared. The battle had lasted exactly 32 seconds. 15,000 alien warships had been completely destroyed. Not a single human had been killed. "It's over," General Collins said quietly. "We won." President Carter sat down in his chair. For 3 days, he had believed that Earth was doomed. The alien fleet had seemed impossible to defeat. But humanity had been ready. Someone had been preparing for this fight for 20 years. "Sir," Defense Secretary Walsh said, "we're getting a message from Dr. Brooks at the Prometheus Defense Initiative." President Carter had met Dr. Brooks for the first time yesterday. The scientist had explained that Earth had been building secret weapons for decades. But even the president hadn't known how powerful they were. "Put him through," the president said. Dr. Brooks appeared on the screen. He looked tired but happy. "Mr. President, I'm pleased to report that the alien threat has been eliminated. All enemy ships have been destroyed. Earth is safe." President Carter shook his head in amazement. "Doctor, how long have you been preparing for this?" 23 years, sir. Ever since we found the first alien wreckage. We knew that someday someone would come looking for us. We wanted to be ready, and you were," the president said. "You saved our planet." Dr. Brooks smiled. "We all saved our planet, sir. This was humanity's victory." The president looked at the screens around the room. They showed empty space where the alien fleet had been. Not a single piece of debris remained. The invaders had been completely erased from existence. "What happens now?" the president asked. "Now, sir, the galaxy learns that Earth is not as helpless as it looks. I suspect we'll be getting visitors soon. Some friendly, some not so friendly." President Carter nodded. The 30-second war was over. But humanity's place in. 3 months after the Zalarian defeat, the galaxy had changed completely. Ambassador Rodriguez stood in the Great Council Chamber on Kepler Station, representing humanity for the first time. Around her sat representatives from 60 different worlds, all watching the newest members of the galactic community. "Honored delegates," Rodriguez began, speaking in perfect galactic standard, "humanity comes before you today not as conquerors, but as partners. We seek peace, trade, and cooperation with all species who share these values." Counselor Vexandra of Altair Prime leaned forward. "Ambassador Rodriguez, many of us are still trying to understand what happened to the Zalarian fleet. Your species appeared primitive just months ago. How do you explain this?" Rodriguez had prepared for this question. "Counselor, humanity has learned that the galaxy can be a dangerous place. We chose to prepare quietly rather than make threats loudly. The Zalarians mistook our silence for weakness." "And what of species who might threaten Earth in the future?" asked Counselor Vexmar of Rigel. "We hope there won't be any," Rodriguez replied. "But if there are, they will discover what the Zalarians learned. Humanity protects itself and its friends. The chamber fell silent. Everyone remembered what had happened to Admiral Hexthal's fleet just 2 weeks ago. The Centauri admiral had brought 2,000 ships to attack Earth. They had lasted exactly 47 seconds. President Carter watched the council session from the White House Situation Room. The live feed showed delegates from across the galaxy listening to Ambassador Rodriguez speak about humanity's plans for the future. "How do you think it's going?" he asked Dr. Brooks, who was visiting from Nevada. "Very well, sir. Half the galaxy wants to be our ally. The other half is too scared to be our enemy. That's a good position to be in." General Collins pointed to the star map on the wall. "Sir, we now have defense agreements with 12 different worlds. They provide us with resources and information. We provide them with protection." President Carter nodded. It was a fair arrangement. Humanity's advanced weapons kept the peace, while other species shared their knowledge and resources. "What about the former Zalarian worlds?" the president asked. "That's where things get interesting, sir," Dr. Brooks said. 23 planets that were under Zalarian control have asked to join our protection network. They're calling it the Terran Alliance. The president looked surprised. "They want us to protect them?" "More than that, sir. They want to adopt our governmental systems. They've seen what democracy and freedom can accomplish. They want the same things for their people." This was unexpected, but welcome news. Humanity hadn't conquered these worlds. The people living there had chosen to join the growing alliance of free worlds under Earth's protection. On the planet New Haven, formerly a Zalarian slave world, Governor Lisa Park oversaw the construction of humanity's first interstellar colony. The planet's native population, a species called the Meridians, had welcomed the humans as liberators. "Governor," said her aide, a young Meridian named Kexlan, "the new schools are ready to open. The children are very excited to learn about human history and science." Governor Park smiled. The Meridians had been enslaved for over a century. Now their children would grow up free, learning alongside human children in integrated schools. "What about the industrial projects?" she asked. "The new factories are producing their first goods, Governor. Human technology combined with Meridian. Craftsmanship is creating products that neither species could make alone." This was the future that humanity wanted. Not conquest or domination, but partnership and mutual growth. Captain Sullivan stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, now the flagship of the Terran Defense Force. Her fleet had grown from 50 ships to over 300. Each one was more advanced than anything the old galactic powers could build. "Captain," Lieutenant Murphy reported, "we're getting a distress signal from the merchant convoy in the Vega sector." "What's the situation?" Captain Sullivan asked. "Pirates, Captain. A dozen ships attacking the trading vessels. The convoy includes both human and alien merchants." Captain Sullivan didn't hesitate. "Set course for Vega sector, maximum speed. Send word to the Fury and the Lightning to join us." The Phoenix and her escort ships jumped to faster-than-light speed. They would reach the convoy in minutes. The pirates wouldn't know what hit them. When the human ships arrived at the battle, they found 12 pirate vessels attacking a convoy of merchant ships. The pirates were using old Zalarian technology, weapons that had once been feared across the galaxy. "All pirate vessels, this is Captain Sullivan of the Terran Defense Force," she broadcast. "Release the merchant ships and surrender immediately." The pirate leader laughed over the radio. 3 human ships against 12 of ours? You're outnumbered, Captain." "No," Captain Sullivan replied. "You're outgunned." The Phoenix fired a single quantum torpedo. The pirate flagship, a former Zalarian cruiser, simply vanished. The other 11 pirate ships suddenly found themselves facing weapons they couldn't comprehend. "Surrender now, or share your leader's fate," Captain Sullivan warned. The remaining pirates surrendered immediately. They had heard stories about human weapons, but seeing them in action was different. Matter didn't just explode when hit by human weapons. It stopped existing. Dr. Brooks stood in his new command center, built openly on the surface instead of hidden underground. Through the windows, he could see the construction of humanity's first public starship factory. The age of secrets was over. "Sir," Kelly Davis reported, "the new Phoenix-class destroyers are rolling off the production line every 8 hours now. We'll have 1,000 ships by the end of the year." "Excellent," Dr. Brooks said. "What about the new technologies?" "The research teams are making incredible progress, sir. Working with alien scientists has opened up possibilities we never imagined. The Altarians' knowledge of quantum mechanics, combined with our dimensional technology, has created weapons even more powerful than what we used against the Zalarians. This was one of the unexpected benefits of joining the galactic community. Humanity's technology was advanced, but other species had different areas of expertise. Working together, they were creating things that no single species could achieve. The planet Ares 7, War Chief Gexenol, met with the human ambassador, Colonel Jake Morrison. The warrior culture of Ares 7 had been one of the few to openly challenge humanity after the Zalarian defeat. "Your warriors fight well, Colonel," Gexenol admitted, "but they fight without honor. Your weapons give no chance for brave death." In battle, Morrison understood the alien warrior's frustration. "War Chief, our weapons are designed to end conflicts quickly. The faster a war ends, the fewer people die." "But where is the honor in victory without struggle?" Gexenol asked. "The honor is in protecting innocent people," Morrison replied. "Our strength serves peace, not glory." Gexenol considered this. His people had always believed that strength was its own purpose. But perhaps these humans had a different kind of wisdom. "Very well, Colonel. The Ares clans will join your alliance. But we ask for the right to face enemies in honorable combat when possible." Morrison nodded. "As long as that combat doesn't endanger innocent lives, we can work something out." It was another victory for diplomacy over warfare. Even the most warlike species could find a place in humanity's growing alliance. President Carter signed the Terran Charter in a ceremony broadcast across 50 worlds. The document established the principles that would guide humanity's relations with the galaxy: freedom, cooperation, protection of the innocent, and peaceful resolution of conflicts. "Today," the president said, "we establish not an empire, but a community. Not a hierarchy of rulers and subjects, but a partnership of equals. Any species that shares our values is welcome to join us." Ambassador Rodriguez stood beside the president as he signed the charter. In just 3 months, she had negotiated treaties with dozens of species. The Terran alliance now included 47 worlds and was growing every week. "Madam Ambassador," the president said quietly, "how do you think history will remember this day?" "As the beginning of a new age, sir. An age when the galaxy learned that strength and wisdom could work together for peace." On his prison ship orbiting Earth, the former, Zalarian officer Kexthil watched the ceremony with amazement. He had been Admiral Krexthil as intelligence officer, one of the few Zalarians to survive the battle. Captain Sullivan had brought him to Earth not as a prisoner, but as a witness. She wanted him to see what humanity was building. "Do you understand now?" Captain Sullivan asked as they watched the ceremony. "I think so, Captain," Kexthal replied. "Your species could have conquered the galaxy after defeating us. Instead, you chose to free it. We learned something important from studying your empire," Captain Sullivan said. "Conquest creates enemies. Liberation creates friends." Kexthal nodded. The Zalarian Empire had ruled through fear and force. When they were defeated, no one mourned their passing. But humanity was building something different. An alliance based on choice rather than conquest. "What will happen to me, Captain?" he asked. That's up to you, Captain Sullivan said. You can return to what's left of Zalarian space and try to rebuild your civilization. Or you can stay here and help us build something better. Kexthul looked out at Earth cities, where humans and aliens worked together as equals. It